this is a moment of concern where they're thinking, does he know what he's doing?
I just interviewed Trump a couple of weeks ago on Air Force One, and I know you've interviewed him several times. I think it was the 11th time that I've interviewed him. And what struck me in terms of his overall composure and comportment was, this is a guy who doesn't care what anybody else says anymore. He is convinced, I believe, that he has a short period of time to truly do whatever he thinks is best in the interest of the American public.
Go broke before you go woke. You don't have to give me any of the money, and you're going to need it.
This is a fiery exchange, but most of all, it's interesting and educational. Klay Thomas lays down the reason why this tariff situation is important, and he does it beautifully. And then this leftist pushes back with all of this ridiculous claims. You've got to stick to the end to see and listen to all of the ridiculous things he lays out. And then I cleaned it up and laid down all the facts and information. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Klay Travis, let me start with you. Even for Donald Trump's biggest supporters, of whom there are many, this is a moment of concern where they're thinking, does he know what he's doing? Do you think he knows what he's doing?
I do, Piers, and I just interviewed Trump a couple of weeks ago on Air Force One, and I know you've interviewed him several times. I think it was the 11th time that I've interviewed him in the last 5 years, which has to be up there. And what struck me in terms of his overall composure and comportment was, this is a guy who doesn't care what anybody else says anymore. And I don't think it's been talked about enough, the July 13th assassination attempt. What it did when he survived that attempt and then also survived the attempt at West Palm Beach at his golf course is he is convinced, I believe, that he has a short period of time to truly do whatever he thinks is best in the interest of the American public. And I would say there are three big categories that he's focused on right now. One is the border, which nobody talks about anymore because the United States southern border is effectively closed. Now, getting the violent perpetrators of crime out of the country is still underway, but he shut down the border. The second, I would say, is a focus in general on trying to get the American marketplace to work in a strong fashion. And he understands that that is a major battle because our trade policies have been broken. The third's the budget, where he's got Elon Musk underway. Those are the three big things that I think he has undertaken in the first 100 days. I think he knows he has to get them fixed in the first 18 months because by the time we get to the summer of next year, we're going to be well on our way to the second term. And he is taking big swings. He is doing what he believes is the absolute best to put America on the best footing for the next several decades. This is not a tiptoe up. This is not a sort of make little changes along the margin. He believes there are three major issues that has to be fixed, and he has dove into them fully to try to get them fixed instead of just trying to, like I said, kind of cut around the edges. This is an implementation of a massive change in all three major areas. One of them is 100% a success already. Stock market's not pleased so far with this one. And I would suggest that Elon Musk and Doge is headed to being a massive success as well.
But Klay, very quickly, a difficult question for you. If this was Joe Biden who'd done this and tanked global markets out of nowhere, not because of a reaction to a crisis, but entirely through a deliberate decision to slap unprecedented tariffs on the entire planet, would you be so enthusiastic, or would you be calling it one of the biggest disasters in modern presidential history?
It's a good question, Piers, and I think let's go to look at what Joe Biden did. Really, this is mostly about China, right? Because China has flouted American global commerce and global commerce in general by deciding that they're going to be making products in different countries, whether it's Vietnam, whether it's Cambodia, to avoid having to deal with the larger issues of fair trade, right? They're moving all their shipments into Mexico, for instance, to take advantage of the fact that there aren't substantial tariffs inside of the North American continent. What did Joe Biden do with China? He left in place the Trump tariffs that everybody told us were unprecedented on China. It's one of the few things that he didn't change at all. So no, I wouldn't trust Joe Biden to have any idea what he's doing because everything Biden touched got worse during his 4 years. I do think, given his history in the marketplace in America and in understanding China taking advantage of us, and given the fact that he just won a popular vote, you have to trust Trump on this. I trust Trump in a way, frankly, that I would not trust Biden. And to your point, I think in your opening, the stock market itself is a measuring device that is not always accurate in the short term. And, you know, my advice to everybody out there, I don't know about you, Piers, I buy S&P 500 index funds. And I put them away, and every 10 years they're going to double on average, because I believe in American exceptionalism and also that we're going to continue to lead the globe. And I think that's what Trump is trying to ensure. But no doubt at all, I wouldn't trust Joe Biden on anything, because everything Joe Biden touched, whether it was a withdrawal from Afghanistan, whether it was the southern border, whether it was violent crime in America, whether it was inflation. Remember, he took it up to 9%. I'll point out that all the people panicking over the stock market now didn't panic in any degree when the stock market didn't move in any way and actually was down for the first 2 years of Joe Biden's presidency. I trust Trump on the economy, and I think he's going to get this worked out.
Klay Travis was absolutely correct and said this beautifully during this interaction. The stock market is going to react emotionally in regards to this situation with the tariffs. The market reacts emotionally in a lot of different situations, but over time, it's going to correct. Everybody knows this. And even we have people like Jim Cramer, who said crazy things and went absolutely nuts on his interview that he did with CNBC. At the end of his total crazy exchange, he even said, but in the end, the market will correct. Everybody knows it will correct. So this fear-mongering that the market went down over a short period of time is somehow bad and making people have hysteria is completely false, because at the end of the day, this is just 1 year worth of growth. And if you are thinking that you're going to get rich, or your investment fund is somehow destroyed because of 1 year worth of market returns, you should not be invested in the market. You have no idea what you're doing, and you're completely irrational. You should get out of stocks. So at the end of the day, this has to play out. Klay Thomas said it beautifully. So we're going to see this next exchange on what this leftist pugnant had to say. He's going to go berserk. Let's watch it now as this starts to really heat up.
Okay, Wajahat, I could see you nodding away there, agreeing with every single pearl of wisdom that came out of Klay's mouth. Am I right?
Yeah, I have a new book for you and Klay. It's going to be a bestseller with MAGA. It's called Go Broke Before You Go Woke. You don't have to give me any of the money. You're going to need it, especially as we're waking up today and seeing the stock market go down. Asian markets are down. S&P is down. Dow Jones is down. Briefly, United States entered a bear market. And then guess what's going up? Prediction for a recession. Goldman Sachs yesterday put it at 45%. The prices of everything is going up. Taxes are going to go up. This is going to be a $6 trillion tax hike on Americans over 1 year, folks. Measles are going up. Measles deaths are going up. Folks, this is why you need competent people. And speaking about China, just today, New York Times came out with an article that said Trump's stupid, no good, reckless, horrible trade war, a unilateral trade war, unilateral tariffs imposed upon our allies. It's making China great again. Chinese exports. We're losing our allies. Japan and South Korea is now talking to China. We just found out today that the EU is planning on retaliation. Canada's planning on retaliation, so they're not going to bend the knee. Donald Trump has no idea how tariffs work. How do I know? I listen to him. He has no idea how the trade deficit works. He thinks a trade deficit means that the other country is screwing you, right? So if you look at that beer chart of tariffs he put on, they came up with some formula, inserted that formula on all our allies. Now there's a trade war. There's panic. Jamie Dimon, of all people, came out today. He's panicked. Goldman Sachs is panicked. Bill Ackman, huge Trump supporter, billionaire, he's panicked. MAGA just lost the host of CNBC Market. Pete Navarro was on there. He's panicked, right? Americans are losing their 401ks. Americans cannot afford eggs. In America, folks, right now in 2025, for those who are watching, some Americans are being told to paint potatoes instead of eggs in 2025 America because they can't afford eggs. Folks, It's okay to criticize your party. I have criticized Joe Biden on your show for the past year and a half, Piers. It is okay to criticize Donald Trump. Right now, the world is responding to this chaos. This man has no idea what he's doing. And by the way, you can criticize Biden, but facts matter. Biden, despite his diminished age, diminished capacity, right? In the 4 years that Biden was president, the economy recovered from when Trump was president, right? Inflation was down. These are facts. The American economy coming off of a pandemic, which has still impacted the world.
That's not true at all.
Klay, I know you live in MAGAverse. I kept quiet while you said lie after lie. Just let me finish. Facts matter. This is for the global audience, not for MAGA. This is for the global audience right now. And by the way, that global audience includes a lot of Republicans who voted for Trump who are freaking out right now. I cannot win over the MAGA cult. Let me just finish. Let me just finish.
So, first of all, there's a lot to unpack there with this radical leftist. But nevertheless, just about every single thing that came out of his mouth was just a complete lie. So, first, let's start with this. He said, obviously, the market is acting irrational. People are scared. And the market is being very emotional. And the market is typically always emotional in the short. And in the long term, it smooths itself out. And we get intrinsic returns over a period of time. Okay? So that is that on that end. He talked about how the Asian markets are down as well, and this is a sign of some sort of problem. Well, first of all, the Asian markets are always down. If you look at the horizon for the Asian markets over a period of 5 to 10, it's always sideways. It's never up. It's always down. It's up 1 year, it's down the next, it's down the next, and it's up 1 year, it's down the next. The Asian market sucks. Okay? So it's not a measurement or anything. Okay? The prices of goods have not gone up yet. Companies are preparing for prices to possibly go up. So him saying prices of goods are up because of this situation is a lie. Prices are up because of Biden. Okay, he says taxes on Americans are going to go up. Taxes on Americans are not going to go up. Even the Treasury for Trump even said that taxes are probably going to go down, wages are going to go up, and Trump wants to put in another tax policy for Americans to lower taxes. He talked about measles are going up. What does that have to do with Trump and tariffs? It has nothing to do with it. He's just being hyperbolic. He made a comment about the New York Times article saying that we're making China great. New York Times just came out with an interview with Megyn Kelly, and they just got destroyed. So who listens to the New York Times anyway? Okay. At the end of the day, we are imposing a over 100% tax on China, and even a lot of businessmen in China and their government officials have even said, with taxes at that high, we won't be able to do absolutely anything. We won't be able to do anything, any trade at all. Okay? It has retaliation. Today, as we see, China has come out with another tax on top of America at 80-something%. So China doesn't want to do fair trade. They're acting irrational. They're acting actually kind of like children. But nevertheless, we'll see what happens with that. But they're going to lose, not us. The EU is planning on retaliating as far as he can see. No, that's wrong. There's no signs the EU wants to retaliate. At the end of the day, they say they want to sit down and negotiate. They want to cooperate rather than have confrontation. So he was lying. He's a liar. He's lied about everything so far, as you see. Okay? Japan said they're willing to cooperate in creating jobs for the United States. And they are urging the removal and the reduction of tariffs to help support that effort, but they're willing to cooperate. South Korea said they're 100% willing to cooperate, and they said that they believe China should cooperate and do the same, and that what China is doing is absolutely wrong. This leftist guy is a moron. He's just making it live. Singapore also said they're willing to negotiate and do a deal with the United States. Okay? So, as far as Jamie Dimon is concerned, I wouldn't say he's panicking, but he did say that if countries go through with tariffs, this could increase inflation overall. Bill Ackman also said, hey, that this could cause an economic problems throughout not only America, but the world. I don't know if that's exact panic like he said. He's a liar. This guy is fear-mongering his ass off. Nobody has lost their 401ks. If you have a retirement plan, a 401k that takes 30, 40, 50 years to develop, 1 year of bad market returns does not destroy that. This guy is a liar, absolute liar, and an idiot. Hope you like this